Hello, I'm Marissa and this is Self-Care Risk. And today I'm going to be showing you what I do to get ready for a full day of clients and how I mentally prepare for a day of doing therapy. So if you want to see a day in the life of how a therapist gets ready for sessions, stay tuned. So starting with the night prior to sessions, one of the first things I like to do is see how many people I have for sessions that day and see who I am seeing for sessions that day. I'll typically do this after I do my night routine, which I'm going to be saving for a future video. What I'll do is I'll pop into my system on my computer or on my phone, and I'll just scroll through my calendar to see who I have on for the next day. Now, the max amount of clients I see in a day is 7 people. But with cancellations and with no shows, that typically ends up to be about 5 to 6 people in a day. I recently became a volleyball coach on the side, so my days look a little bit different and a little shorter for seeing clients. So on those days, I'll have about 3 to 4 people. So there are 2 main reasons I check my clients the night before my sessions. The first one is if I need to send out any information to that client I have the next day, I'll do so then, and this is especially true for if I have a new client. New clients need to have their Doxy link, which is the telehealth system we use, sent out to them so they're able to get on for our virtual sessions. Second reason is so I can check how many clients I'm seeing that day and which clients I'm seeing that day. This is important because it allows me to mentally prepare for my sessions as much as possible. For me, my mental capacity looks different for if I have 2 clients in a day versus if I have 7 clients in a day. And this for sure looks different if I have a low maintenance schedule versus a high maintenance schedule. So to give you guys some example, for me, a low maintenance schedule looks like someone who I've been seeing for a little while. We have a built-in established rapport, or a client who has like a low level diagnoses like maybe mild anxiety or depression, or they're just there for like a maintenance session. And that differs from a client who may experience a little bit more of a high level diagnoses like a trauma related disorder or a mood disorder, or a client who is new, or a client who I just know I have to be extra regulated with them. And why it's important to be regulated and grounded as a therapist session is because there is a chance for countertransference every time you go into a session with somebody. Let's have a little education corner. So countertransference is when you are in a session with someone and they may say something or something about that client is making you feel like you're relating to them to a point of it interfering with the session. So to give a very shallow example, say I got a client who say, hey, I'm born in Columbus, Ohio, and I know I'm born in Columbus, Ohio. It could be a potential negative experience if them saying that makes me feel some type of way about being in session with them and knowing that we're both from Columbus, Ohio. Now, that is not to say that therapists can't relate to their clients, because we can in very positive ways too. We have to be very mindful and careful when we're choosing to self-disclose, because it can take away from the therapeutic process and from that person's experience in therapy. But enough therapy talk, let's move on to the next point. Let's fast forward and jump to the morning of sessions. The next thing I do is try to have an extensive morning routine. Now for me, I know I need at least an hour to get prepared for my sessions, and that's at the very least. I find that when I don't give myself at least that hour to get ready, I find myself being way more just chaotic and restless and all over the place, and that makes me feel anxious going into session, and that's not a good combination when I'm meeting with someone that day. I don't get that hour, I literally feel like Mr. Krabs in that one meme where he's like So I do like to work out in the morning, so I'll have at least an hour and a half to 2 hours doing that. And that includes, getting there, warming up, doing my workout, cooling down, and coming home. I give myself 2 hours to do that. And then I like to have an hour just for me relaxing. So in this time, I'll just watch TV, I'll scroll on TikToks, I'll get something to eat. That is time purely just for resting and relaxing. Also try to give myself about 30 minutes to an hour just to get some stuff for work done that day. So whether that's doing notes from the day before or answering emails or just anything work related, I'll try to give myself time to do that in the morning too. Because one thing I know about me is I am not a night person. So If it's 11 o'clock, it's 11 o'clock and I'm going to bed. My brain doesn't function after 11:01 p.m. To work with me and not against me, I like to have a good set time in the morning to make sure I can do all the things I want to do. And that doesn't include me actually getting ready for work. So I'll give myself 30 minutes to get in the shower, to do my makeup, to do my hair, and leave out for work. So in saying all this, my morning preparation could last anywhere from an hour to 3.5 hours long. You need to leave. Now, I don't do this perfectly every day, but I would say about 90% of the time, I'm getting up and doing this routine, very similar to this. What helps is that I make my schedule, so my days don't typically start until around 10 to 12 p.m. in that time range. So the third thing I do is kind of related to point 2, and that is to have a big or moderate sized breakfast. So I don't know about you guys, but I am a breakfast person. And so when I make it, I want to make all of it. But my current go-tos are making a parfait. So I'll do like strawberries, blackberries, yogurt, which is typically dairy-free, and almonds. I'll do an omelet with spinach. I'll do a breakfast sandwich with
turkey sausage and like bagel thins. I'll do a protein shake or just like some fruit on the side with
it, or just like a combination of all of those. I'll notice a big change in my mood if I don't eat before my day starts, and I'll find myself getting distracted thinking about the food that I want to eat in session or when I'm going to eat next. Moving on to the fourth thing I do is try to have a ritual when I get ready to have my sessions. You guys may experience something like this, like when you're getting ready to go to anything or just get, ready to go for your day. Like playing music, having certain clothes on until you get ready, something similar to that. Therapy sessions can be really intimate. It's not like going into the doctor's office where it feels really clinical and, bright blue lights and everything looks mundane. Therapy sessions typically try to have an environment where it feels relatable and comfortable, so you are able to feel like you are your authentic self. As therapists, one of the primary things we are focused on is that social connection. So when you walk into a therapy session, or I know that, all of our sessions are like virtual now because of COVID, the background behind them looks comfortable and welcoming. I'm working from home today, so you'll just see that, but even in my office at my job, I try to create it to where it feels like me and it feels really comfortable. Now, this part is a little bit more for me. So when I get into my sessions, I typically like to light a candle. I'll make sure I get a blanket for my cold feet because they are freezing. And I'll make sure I fill up my water bottle. So those are just some of the things I do to make sure that I'm like set for my session. Now for my outfits, if you know, you know.
Girls that get it, and the girls that don't.
But if you also have a job where you're just seeing, chest up, I also just try to wear a good presentable top. Especially if I'm at home, I can't really say the same for the bottom, but there's bottoms, but they aren't looking like how I look up here. Now at work, I dress a little bit more professional, but I still do have my casual days because to me, even dressing a little bit more casual just adds to the relatability as me being a therapist. So the very last thing I do before I start a session with someone is I check their notes from the week before. Most times I'll see my clients weekly or bi-weekly, so it's easy to forget those small minor details that we talked about in the week before. And a lot of times I'll give my clients homework, so I'll follow up with that in the beginning of our session. Or I'll leave a note for my future self for that session that day from the time I did my note saying like, hey, follow up about the treatment plan goals, for example. So then I know a plan about what my session is going to be that day. This really helps decrease the anxiety for me going into session because instead of just going and floating around like, okay, what am I going to do? Like, I have no plan for today. I can look back at my notes and see like, okay, this is what I want to follow up on. This is what we're going to discuss today. This is the plan. This is the intervention. It gives me a well thought out plan of what I'm going to do for that day. So everyone, those are the top 5 things I do to get ready as a therapist every day. What do you guys prepare to do to get ready for your days or going to work, or just whatever you have to do in that day? Let me know in the comments. If you guys haven't done yet, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me a ton and I appreciate it so much. And like this video if you want to see more videos of what my life as a therapist looks like. Also, if you haven't yet, please check out my very first video to learn a little bit more about me and my channel. But thanks everyone, and I'll see you soon.